You think his mother named him Jesus?
Yeah, of course, she had to.
No, Jesus is Greek.
No.
The name Jesus is not Greek. Jesus is the anglicized version of Jesus, which came from Latin. And if you notice, they're making fun of her for calling him Jesus and not his true name. So what is his true name? Well, let's hear what he's got to say.
Sure.
Was born.
All right, just to let you know.
What makes this interesting is the fact that he even says from his own mouth that his true name is Yeshua. Yet, Muslims don't call him that, do they? So in English, we can tell you how the Hebrew Yeshua came to be the English Jesus. So, quick question to all the Muslims. So how did the Hebrew version of Yeshua come to be known in Arabic as Isa? You go back and watch that video, you hear one of the men say, well, his name wasn't Jesus because there wasn't even a J then. And it's called transliteration. And transliteration is a process of transferring a word from the alphabet of one language to another. Transliteration helps people pronounce words and names in foreign languages. Now here's the key difference. Unlike a translation, which tells you the meaning of a word that's written in another language, a transliteration only gives you an idea of how the word is pronounced by putting it in a familiar alphabet. It changes the letters from the word's original alphabet to similar sounding letters. So when translating a name from one language to another, you might have to transliterate it into the sounds of the alphabet of the language that you're translating. And here's one such example. English, Jesus, to Spanish. Now in Spanish, they would say Jesus, right? That's because even though they're spelled the same, the J is not pronounced the same way. So how did the Hebrew name Yeshua come to be known as Jesus? Well, here's the progression. We have the Hebrew name Yeshua, which goes to Greek, which is Jesus, and then the Greek goes to Latin, which is
Jesus,
and then the Latin goes, and here's where it gets interesting, to Old English. So the J and the I at that time used to be considered one letter. Now, I think it was somewhere between the 14th and the 17th century, they got their own categories. And then you arrived at the modern English, Jesus. So yesterday I did a video where I asked Muslims how the Hebrew name Yeshua came to be known in Arabic as Isa. And I asked this question to see if we get a clear, consistent answer from all the Muslims. And as expected, that didn't happen. There are actually many different answers. Now, I had some people say that Jesus translates to Isa in Arabic, and well, you know, we translate names all the time from different languages. And if that's the case, I have another quick question for you. Why do Arabic Christians who speak the same language as you, why do they not call him Isa? They actually call him Yeshua, based off the Hebrew Yeshua. Now, I'd like to point out that Arabic Christians existed hundreds of years before Arabic Muslims. So why don't they call him the same name? It's interesting because the traditional Arabic rendering or transliteration of the Hebrew name Yeshua is Yeshua. And since Hebrew and Arabic are Semitic languages, they are very closely related. There are rules regarding the letters and the sounds in Hebrew and how they correspond to the letters and sounds in Arabic. So the Hebrew letter Shin turns to the Arabic letter Sin. The sole difference between the letter Shin and the letter Sin is the presence or absence of the dot. And the same things, well, the same in Arabic, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. And here is the Arabic Shin, and as you can see, there's the dots up the top there. Now, in order for this to change to Sin, you would not have any dots, and you'll see that when you go from Hebrew to Arabic in the spelling. So a common example of this would be if we take the Hebrew root Shalom into Arabic. And if you notice, at the end, there is the Shin with the little dots on it. Now, Shalom would turn into Salam. And that would be written like this. And if you look at the end, it is not a Shin, but a Sin now. So it drops. So if we're going to transliterate with names, it's going to follow suit. And you can see here you got the Hebrew Yeshua, and in Arabic, if you look down here, the Shin is right there. So if we're moving from Hebrew to Arabic, the Shin is going to drop to a Sin. Now Yeshua would turn into Yeshua in Arabic. And Yeshua is written right above. And if you notice, the Shin, the little dots, are gone. And it's now a Sin. Okay, now I'd like you to take a look and see how Isa is written. Upon looking at the writing of Yeshua and Isa, you'll notice that the Ain at the end of Yeshua is now coming to the front and is now at the beginning of the name Isa in the Quran. So in conclusion, it's been turned backwards. It's a reversal of the consonants. So why would they do this? Well, I'm going to let this guy, Rob Christian, who you can find on YouTube, tell you why, because he does a way better job explaining.
The tafsir of Ibn Ashur, the famous Maliki scholar, for Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 87, we can read, وَعِيسَى اسم معرب من يشوع أو يسوع وهو اسم عيسى ابن مريم قلبوه في تعريبه مرة أخرى قلبوه في تعريبه. Translation, and Isa is the Arabized name of Yeshua, which is the original Syriac Aramaic name, or Yeshua, as we, the Arabic-speaking Christians, have always called him for the last 2,000 years. And if we continue reading, it says, they turned the name upside down, i.e., they read the name backwards. Did you catch it? They read the name backwards. And the reason why they read the name backwards, they wanted to make the name more likely for the Arabs because of the complicated state to pronounce certain names from the original or different language. So as you see, the real name is Yeshua or Yesua, and certainly not Isa. Do you see how the scholars are trying to justify the reason for playing with the name? Isn't it a huge insult to read someone's name backwards? Would Muslims accept it if we Christians changed the Prophet's name Muhammad into Dammahum? I just ripped the name apart. I completely destroyed it. Do you accept it when I destroy your Prophet's name, ya Muslimun? Why not? But you have done it to our Yeshua al-Masih for the last 1400 years.